Hello. Today I'm going to be talking to you about consciously affirming concepts that are related to general education curriculum and also music curriculum. You're going to hear a lot about research-based best practice in your classroom. And so let me just give you a little bit of background about what makes what we're going to be talking about today research-based best practice. So we do know for sure that singing unlocks the brain's potential for language and reading. We also know that singing is a primary source for learning in that it activates more areas of the brain than any other activity. Singing and playing games with singing is exciting for kids. It increases the oxygen flow to their brain, which helps with any cognitive work they might be doing. It even changes your brain chemistry in that it increases endorphin levels, decreases cortisol levels, increases oxytocin levels, can even, in some studies, has been shown to protect you from things like the common cold by increasing your body's own immune response. So we want to make sure that singing is happening every day. And I only see my kids at the elementary level just once a week. And if they're a Monday kid and we don't have school on Monday because it's a holiday or a professional development day, then those kids just miss, which means that it's going to kind of fall on some of you to make sure that your students are engaged in daily singing activities. Don't forget also that singing and singing games, finger plays, action songs are ways to build community with your kids. Even older kids. Remember, this class is geared towards kindergarten through 8th grade, and I would certainly encourage you to do singing activities with your kids at all levels, no matter if one day you end up teaching at high school level, you should still be doing singing with your kids, particularly things like piggyback songs or any of the other number of things that we're going to be talking about throughout this course. Folk songs, which are the primary repertoire that we use in this class, are building blocks for the brain. So folk music has the potential, through its simple, basic, easily sung patterns of sound, to engage the brain on a level that it very closely mimics the way that the brain is engaged with language. So anytime that we can use folk songs, which are derived from spoken language and have the same metrical inflection, prosody of spoken language, rhythmic inflection, all of those characteristics with language, we can help build a bridge between language and music that is essential for students to develop. So the way we need to do that is through daily singing in keys that are comfortable for the children and appropriate for their developing vocal range. It is important that when you are singing with your children, you're singing in a key that is slightly higher than what you feel comfortable, because that is what is appropriate for children. If we ask children to sing in keys that are too low for them, aka more comfortable for you, we can do long-term vocal damage to their vocal folds, or we will force them to learn to sing out of tune because they can't physiologically reach the same pitches that you and I can. So we want to make sure we're singing up high for the children. So make sure that when you are singing with kids, you're just singing a little bit higher than you feel comfortable so that you're in a good key for kids. It's very vitally important for me to teach each of you how to lead songs. Leading songs is not an innate skill. It's something that we as teachers do need to be taught. How to teach a song to kids is not as simple as just putting on a recording and have them listen to it until they learn the words, in the way that we learn a song on the radio. Now you'll notice when you're singing along with a song on the radio, the part that you know, which is called the refrain or chorus, is often sung really loudly, and then when you get to the part that you don't, we don't want that to happen for kids. We want them to be competent singers for all the text of our songs. So teaching a kid a song is an important skill. We also want to make sure that we are, as classroom teachers, using music in support of our math, ELA, science, and social studies curriculum. So that's really what affirming parallel concepts or conscious affirming is all about. Later in this semester, I will ask that you peer teach a conscious affirming or affirming parallel concepts lesson that has a general music objective as well as an objective for either math or ELA. So I will model that several times for you throughout the semester. I will do a music class game, and I will use it to teach or reinforce or assess a musical concept, and then I will do the same thing to teach, reinforce, or assess a general education concept. So that's what we're using the affirming parallel concepts lessons to do. So using traditional chants, folk songs, and singing games, you create a lesson that is allows the children to practice musical skills at the same time that they are demonstrating to you learning from your own classroom. Like I said, I'm going to have lots of examples of this for you before I'm asking you to do it for yourself. Now, one other thing that I think I should probably note for you is that there are teachers out there, and I believe you will probably be one of them, that will assign, at least for your little kids, to do things like math facts and sight works at home. And I'm here to tell you that as a teacher with 20 years of experience, by and large, that isn't happening at home. So you need to find ways in your classroom that you can practice those skills in ways that are fun and engaging for your kids so that they want to do it. Parents are extraordinarily busy. Kids have a million activities to do, and there just is so much less time at home than we had when we were kids. We just have, more time to do things with our parents. I'm not sure retrospectively how much time I spent doing flashcards at home. Actually, I do remember doing them with my brother. They were always things like math facts. I remember doing math facts with my brother. I don't remember doing sight word cards at all. So I would challenge you as teachers to try to find ways to use sight words in games structure in your classroom. So there is a list also. I should direct you to the Fry 1000 sight words list. So Fry was someone who did a meta-analysis of just tons of print materials, and he found that 80% of print materials in the United States are contain not 80%. Let me start over. He found that through the meta-analysis that he did, all of this textual material in the United States, that 80% of the words in those texts were limited to just 1,000 words. So if a student could know those 1,000 words, then they would be able to call at sight 80% of the words that they see. So that 1,000 list can be divided up into 100 lists of 10 or 10 lists of 100, and you can use those in your classroom to help build some of the manipulatives that you will use for your affirming parallel concepts lessons. So just know that sight word practice, is extraordinarily important. It is absolutely not the most important thing about reading. Reading comprehension is the most important thing. But having to develop some automaticity with word call is certainly a necessary skill in order to read fluently. So anytime that you can ask the kids to practice those skills in your classroom in a way that's fun, engaging, and they want to do it, then you absolutely should take advantage of that. So hopefully that is demonstrated to you through my modeling of the conscious affirming or affirming parallel concepts lessons that we will be doing in class. So I hope that you found this video to be informative if you missed class today, and that will help guide you in your thinking about what I'm modeling for you in the classroom. Thank you.